Okay, so I'm doing something different for this draft, and I'm drafting RTR. I like this draft format quite a bit. Just recently, I've been playing um, mainly M14. So here, then, we have, I think, a pretty good rare that we're going to end up taking. Um, yeah, it's going to be this card is the pick. I think it's stronger than most of the uncommons and commons in this pack. If this wasn't here, I think I'd probably be inclined to take either the Alive and Well or the Beetle Form Mage. I think they're probably the two strongest cards in the pack. You could also make an argument for Pilfered Plans or the Guildgate. Um, but yeah, I think if it wasn't for this card, I would probably take the Alive and Well or the Beetle Form Mage. But yeah, we're going to take this card here and see where we go from there. So here then, we have a few options. I think the best card in the pack is, well, I haven't read this before. One second. Can't cast cards of this person's name. That's quite an interesting card. Unfortunately, it's not really in our colours. I think perhaps here the best. I'm really not sure how good this card is. I suppose. Yeah, I suppose it's okay as a ramp and also as an expensive meddling mage, but yeah, I'm not really sure about that card. The next card then probably Gruul Warchant, um, followed by I think the Guildgate. So I think it's probably either the Council, the Chant, or the Guildgate. Um, I'm really not sure here. I think normally I'd probably be inclined to take the Guildgate, but yeah, I'm going to take the Council here. I haven't played with it before, and I'd like to keep my options open to an extent. Here then, there are a few options available. Um, there is the Pilfered Plans, which I guess if I'm looking to play Council of the Absolute, that card is probably better. Um, there's also, I think it's probably between the Pilfered Plans and the Orzhov Guildgate. Um, at this point, I'm still not really sure which direction I'm going in, um, and I think perhaps therefore I may take the Guildgate instead. Yeah, I think the Guildgate is probably the card I want to play here. Yeah, I'm going to take the Guildgate in this position. At the moment, our draft is not really coming together at all, um, and we're getting past quite a few pilfered plans. There's also a Blast of Genius in the pack, which I rate quite highly. Um, However, I think based on this pack, there's no Guildgate here, which does tell me that the drafters on my right are taking the Guildgates relatively high. I think of these cards, I think Pilfered Plans is probably the strongest card, and I think perhaps the strongest signal in this pack. So I'm going to take the Pilfered Plans here. I think the main strike against Blast of Genius is that we've drafted four colors. I think adding red is just going to derail our draft, and I think at least with Pilfered Plans it gives us a little bit of direction. Um, Here again, a few options. Again, we need to note that there is no Guildgate in this booster, which again suggests to me that the Guildgates are being taken high by the drafters on our right. Um, Therefore, I think here I'm inclined to take the Sin Collector. I think the Gatekeeper is one of the strongest cards if you're drafting the Guildgate deck, but because we're not receiving these Guildgates from the right, I think it would be a mistake to try to draft heavy Guildgates. So yeah, I'm going to take the Sin Collector here, which I think is the strongest card, and I've had good experiences with this so far. Okay, so some more options then. I think probably the strongest card is Blood Scrivener. Um, yeah, I'm not really a fan of Toil and Trouble. It's generally not as good as you really expect it to be. I think the options are probably either Blood Scrivener, Orzhov Cluestone, and then also potentially Rot Farm Skeleton if you did want to play the Varaz. But I think in this position, I just want to. I think I'm going to solidify myself into black and draw the Scrivener here. I think at the moment it's looking likely that we're going to be either in Orzhov or Dimir going into Gatecrash. Here then, I think the options are either Hired Torturer or Selesnya Cluestone. Again, Rot Farm Skeleton could be an option, but perhaps not. I'm not really a fan of Hired Torturer. I rate it a lot lower than most people do. So yeah, I think. Having said that, no, I think even though I do rate it low, I think I'm going to take it over the Cluestone anyway. It looks like I am going to be in black. Okay, and I think probably the Snare Squad is what I want to draft here, and then look to go Orzhov with my draft. Yeah, I think that seems about right. Okay, also worth noting here that, as we mentioned earlier in the draft, we're not really receiving any of the guild gates. So I think, I mean, Sunrise Gatekeepers could be fine if we get more guild gates in the other packs, but I think I'm going to take. Actually, I think I'm going to take the Cluestone here. I don't think the Gatekeepers is going to make the deck. I don't think we're going to get a lot of access to the guild gates, and there is a chance that we're going to splash both Pilfered Plans and Varaz. Here then, I think the option is probably, I think this is quite simple, I think we're just going to take Fatal Fumes, unless we're going to commit to Dimir with this. But I think our white cards are already pretty good, so yeah, we're going to take the black card here. I don't think it's very close. And the same again, I don't think Fatal Fumes is a great card, but I think it's better than everything else in the pack. And same here. I think here I'm probably going to take the Drown in Filth over the Mending Touch. Yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to do. And that Cluestone is quite a nice gift. And yeah, we'll just round out. Okay, and we got that Selesnya Cluestone back at the end. So I wouldn't say this draft is going particularly well. I don't think we've really picked anything strong. At the same time, though, it's not like we are. It's not like it's a train wreck. We have a clear direction that we're going. But perhaps the issue that we've had is that we haven't received many of the strong Dragon's Maze commons that would really tell you which direction to take. Right, okay, well that's a pretty strong rare or mythic to open. I think here, unfortunately, the options are either we can go the mythic plan and potentially give up the Sin Collector, because we're still not committed to Orzhov yet. I think maybe Syndicate of Ties would commit us to Orzhov. But we do have the option of audibling into a more controlish deck. We don't really have the guild gates to support it, but on the other hand, I think if we were to draft this, we would be looking to draft power over consistency, because I think drafting this would then mean we would definitely play the Varaz, we would definitely play just the Varaz. I think maybe I want to take the Prime Speaker here and look to draft power over synergy. I think this is a close pick. I think it's either Syndicate if you're going to commit to the Orzhov plan, or you take the power. And I've taken the powerful card here. So I think again then you have quite a similar conundrum here, where you have the Guildgate versus the Prophetic Prism. This is an interesting option. There's also Skull Parasite, and if I do go Orzhov, there is the Guild Mage. But I don't think this Guild Mage is one of the better Guild Mages, though. So I think really the pick comes down to either Dimir Guildgate or Prophetic Prism. Um, I think, in fact, that because we haven't drafted any gatekeepers, I think perhaps the correct pick here may be the Prism. Um, Yeah, I think perhaps the Prism here is the card that I'm going to take. It looks like we're going to have quite heavy mana requirements that are not going to be fixed just by drafting this Guildgate. So I don't normally take these that high, but I don't think it's wrong in this case to draft this card. Okay, so yeah, there's nothing really in this pack that we want. Um, I think it's probably then down between. I don't think the Guildgate doesn't really do anything for us because we haven't drafted any red. The pick falls between Knight of Obligation and Cloudfin Raptor, and it really comes down to which color am I expecting to play more. Um, and I think if I have drafted the Prime Speaker Zagana with the view to playing it, I think we therefore are committing ourselves more to Demir than to Orzhov. So I think maybe the Clownfin Raptor here is the correct pick. Okay, I do like that card actually more than most people, but I think here the pick is probably going to be um, the Syndicate Enforcer. I think it's easiest to pick black cards because we know that we are definitely black. It's the other colours that we're not quite sure about. So I think black is probably the sorry, I think Syndicate Enforcer is probably the pick here. Hopefully we'll get unexpected results to table. It's not rated very highly, but I quite like this card. So okay. Right, so no real options here. I guess Orzhov Guildgate is what we're going to go with. We can take Totally Lost, but I don't really rate it that high. So I think the Guildgate is what we're going to draft here. Um, well, this is quite an interesting pick again. I think here what I'm going to take, I think Millennial Gargoyle would be reasonable. But Nimbus Swimmer is a pretty good card, and again, it looks like we're going to be base black with splashing the Simic colours. So I think Nimbus Gargoyle is fine here. We just need to decide really if blue is our second colour or if green is our second colour. At the moment it's looking like blue is going to be the second colour, but we do have some flexibility on deciding that. Um, Again, quite fortunate here that we have three strong picks. Devour Flesh, Greenside Watcher and Prophetic Prism. I think Greenside Watcher we can eliminate this already because again we're still not committed to green as the second colour. It's going to be between Prophetic Prism and Devour Flesh. I think perhaps here let's look at that. I would like to take the Prism. I think Prism would be pretty good in our deck, but I think it has to be Devour Flesh in this slot. I don't think Devour Flesh is fantastic, but I think it has to be the pick there. Here, I think probably the blue card over everything else. And again, I think maybe the Guildgate is what we want to draft here, over the Enforcer, which is a good card, but I think the Guildgate may be more significant for us. Okay, and here then, I'm just going to draft this card. I've played against this card once or twice, and it's been reasonably good against me, so it's not a bad sideboard option to have. And here I'm just going to take, I think, the Naturalize. Yeah, Naturalize is what I'm going to draft here. And it did make its way around, so Unexpected Results is the card I'm picking, and we'll just round out the picks here. Oh wow, okay, so we've got another Mythic. And I think what I'm going to do in this draft is, I think I'm going to be maybe inclined to value draft here, which sounds horrible for a recorded draft, but I think what helps our cause is that there's really nothing else that we want in this pack. Maybe potentially Azorius Charm, but then yeah, I don't think anything has the high impact of Trostani. So yeah, we're going to take the Mythic here and play a 3 Mythic 4-color deck. Okay, and this is interesting. We have 2 cards. I think Lot Left Troll is probably what I'm going to take here over Axebane Guardian and Assassin Strike. Yeah, I think the Troll is probably the pick here. I mean, one thing that the Trostani pick does for us is it tells us that the colours that we should be are green and black. Most of our cards are black, and I think most of our good cards also have green in them. So I think green-black is probably what we're drafting, splashing the blue. Just hopefully we can get some Axebane Guardians and the 2-drop guy that searches for guild gates. That would, I think, make our deck significantly better than it is at the moment. Wow, okay, so again we have some options here. Right, I think the 2 options then, obviously Underworld Connections and Corrosa Guildmage. I think here I'm just going to go for power over synergy again. I think we're going to draft the Connections. So this is, I think, maybe the better card. I think this is probably the more powerful one. I think has a higher impact over the course of the game. So, well, having said that, yeah, I think I'm going to take the Underworld Connections here. Okay, so some options, I guess. Unfortunately, the best card in the pack is one that we can't take, which is Explosive Impact. Mind Rot is fine. I'm not really a fan of Dark Revenant, and Seek the Horizons, which I think may even be the pick here. Yeah, I think Seek the Horizons is what I'm taking. Here then, yeah, nothing really that we are that happy about. Maybe Grizzly Salvage is, I think, the best card. Yeah, I think Grizzly Salvage is what we're going to draft here. Okay. Right, okay, so I think this Dreg Mangler is probably the best card in the pack. We do have the option of taking Centaur Healer, but we're not really... I'm not convinced that Centaur Healer is better than Dreg Mangler, and green-black are our base colours anyway, so I think we are going to take this card. Here then, we have... I guess Azorius Charm can be an option, again, considering how, I guess, schizophrenic our deck is. But then, I think perhaps also Grizzly Salvage is what we're going to take here, mainly because it just feeds our Varolz, and will also help us get to land that we want. So, yeah, I think maybe this is a pick. Yeah, okay, I'm going to take the Salvage again. Right, so let me just separate by color. I am actually a big fan of Civic Sabre. Um, Perhaps not in this deck per se, but um, it's certainly a card that I would be open to. Um, at the same time, I don't think any of these cards are cards that I really want to be playing. So I'm going to take the Rootborn Defenses, primarily because it can be a good sideboard option. So yeah. Okay, right. So we got another Seek the Horizon. I'm going to take this card on the understanding that, well, I can play it. Or actually, are we? No, actually, I think that's wrong. I think we're actually going to draft the Cremate. I don't think we're going to play two, even bring in another one. I don't think we're ever going to bring in or sideboard in. Whereas Cremate can be good against opposing dredge decks. So yeah. Right. So two options here then. Stonefillet Crocodile or Daggerdrome Imp. Let me just check for Ross again. I think here I'm more inclined to take the Imp. Yeah, I think the Imp is what I'm taking here. And okay, we'll just round out the draft now. Okay, yeah, we're going to take Mind Rot here. And the Cremate and Downsize. Right, okay, well, this draft, I wouldn't say it went well. However, we did open very well. So if this only amounts to a rare draft, then I don't think we did particularly badly. Right. Okay, so we're going to start by just putting in the Golgari cards, and then I think we're going to start off the original shell with just Golgari, and then look at what cards we can add to, I guess, to just supplement what we have in Golgari. Um, okay, so that's our, and I think that as well. Um, I suppose Drowned in Filth. If we're playing double Grizzly Salvage, I suppose Drowned in Filth is not terrible. But I'm not going to be I'm not going to be playing with that card. Um, I think I'm going to begin first with just adding in the blue cards to this deck. So Pilfered Plans is going to go in. So I'm just going to put Seek the Horizon. Pilfered Plan is going to go in, as is the Prime Speaker, as is the Nimbus Swimmer. I was going to put Unexpected Results in because I do like that card a lot, and it is going to help us occasionally cheat some harder to cast cards into play if we do get lucky. Although I guess the downside to this card is that we are playing Nimbus Swimmer. But yeah, I still do like this card. So I guess we'll keep it in for the moment. Those are the blue cards then. And then if we are to also add the white cards, we'd put in Trostani. And I suppose Sin Collector. And then we would probably need to add quite a lot of mana or clue stones. I think Probably the white is more necessary to have double of than blue, is it? Okay, so okay, I think I'm going to take out unexpected results, and I think I'm going to bring in um, one of these clue stones. I think I'm probably going to bring in the white clue stone. Well, actually, maybe not. I think the Simic clue stone is probably going to be brought in. I think I'm also going to bring in the Selesnya clue stone over the Orzhov clue stone. Right, so that's our deck. Um, looks looks pretty. I think it looks pretty inconsistent, but at the same time, I guess if you just remove the white cards and the blue cards. So this is, I think, the core of the deck, which is not unreasonable. It's not very exciting, but it does eventually do stuff. Um, I guess one concern about this deck is that, yeah, I think one concern here is that it draws a lot, or it has the ability to draw a lot of cards with Pilfered Plans, Prime Speaker, Underworld Dreams, Seek the Horizon. It has a lot of card advantage, but not necessarily the cards that are going to do anything with that advantage. So I think maybe we want to put in a finisher as well. I think maybe the Horncaller's Chant is going to go in, and we're going to remove, I think maybe the Grizzly Salvage, or I could see perhaps removing. Yeah, I think maybe the Salvage is what I'm going to remove. I don't want to put too many cards in the graveyard because we are going to be drawing a lot. So decking might be an issue, or I think is going to be an issue. So yeah, I'm going to keep it that way. This card then, again, I think I'm inclined here, rather than play Grizzly Salvage, I may even be more inclined to play the third Clue Stone. Or rather than the Clue Stone, maybe play the Council of the Absolute. Yeah, I think Cancel the Absolute is going to allow us to cast Horncaller's Chant early. It'll also make our Fatal Fumes more efficient. So I am going to, I think, play that Mythic too. Um, I'm just looking if there's any possible way I can play the one rare that I'm not playing. Um, I think perhaps taking out Mind Rot may be an option. Yeah, I think if I'm going to play Horncaller's Chant, I think also playing Unexpected Results could have some unexpected results. So yeah, we're going to do that, I think. Yeah, this deck looks pretty bad, but I'm quietly confident. Now the mana base. We don't have that much time left actually, so let's just go the blue cards and the white cards. Right, so let's do this really quickly. Suggest. Right, I think there are too many white here, so let's take 2 away and up. Forest 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 2. Okay, I think we're gonna go with that for the moment. That seems about right. Okay, so yeah,